Alrighty, guys, and I'm back with more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney gameplay. I was debating on whether or not to even stream today, but I mean, look at the time. We're already halfway through the summer. And the way I see it, I got some games to finish. Oh shoot! I clicked Spirit for an accident. I probably should go ahead and uninstall that. Come to think of it, go ahead and close it. Yeah. After these streams, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for bed. RE2 is another one I might want to uninstall. Okay, there we go. The Steam sale should be in a few days. I was debating also on whether or not I should go to another concert, but the concerts that I'm looking at are like $100. Like, who is it? Paramore and Blink-182. Blink-182 is one of those bands where the first the first albums I had were Blink-182 albums. Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and Enema of State. Those are like my first 3 CDs, like Linkin Park and both of those Blink-182s. And Paramore, I've never had a Paramore album. I think both shows are going to be great shows. I just don't want to pay $100 to go. Okay, Defendant Lobby number 1, January 7th, 9:48. I was actually looking into it yesterday, like, why doesn't Phoenix Wright have voice acting? And again, it's because of the gratuitous amount of dialogue. They couldn't afford it. Like, there's so much freaking dialogue. I guess they should have expected this, Bird says. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? He was there when I took the coffee! Scott Sutter! Aggie! Act Detective Gumshoe! Are you doing alright? How you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. I'm still wearing my maid outfit. My waitress outfit. Whatever. Well, I'm getting done, Maggie. Don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger. You! Yes. Why are you acting like a drill sergeant, Gumshoe? What gives? There's squares against weight. Got a bell. Maggie's innocent, yeah? Screw up. Then I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest. Well, Gumshoe, maybe you could help us and give us some evidence, What are you doing to protect Maggie? You're on our side for once, right? Okay, scratch my scalp. Oops. My hair. You'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Can you, sir? Oh, of course. I got a situation under control. Gotta be the first witness on stage today. Something says doesn't mesh with facts, make sure you point it out, right? Performing in that front today, pal. You get me? Get help too. Gumshoe. Don't leave it all right, you know? Wright's a good attorney, but he's gonna need help. I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you. It looks like it should go pretty smoothly, huh? I can only wish. Yeah, a plethora of dialogue. January 7, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. I mean, it is Capcom, so presumably they could afford it. They're just trying to cut costs, I guess, like most businesses. Court is now in session for the trial menu. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Yes, Godot's back. That means we're probably going to get that amazing theme again. Ah, bitter. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? Oh. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, he was talking to me. Yeah, that New York accent, how did you not know it was not Phoenix? Like, I know this judge is, like, very, what's it called? Oblivious? But, I mean, even for him, that's, like, a new standard. Like, he's setting a new standard for him being completely clueless. He was a little well intimidated. That wasn't me. That was phony Phoenix. Hello, Judge. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now. See? Our trusty... How would you not know? You've been with Phoenix in enough trials now. You should know who Phoenix Wright is. Your opening statement, please. Mr. Clark, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we'll find out soon enough through this trial today. But I can already tell you, I'm the real Phoenix Wright. I wasn't questioning whether you are Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. Of course, he's the lawyer. That's what I intend to find out. There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. As everyone's aware. And why wouldn't he try to confirm that in another trial? I don't know. Or just ask Phoenix. As everyone's aware, the court's already been given a verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for relevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented at the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said, trust me. Now then, Mr. Godot, please summon your first witness. Detective Gumshoe. Let's start with a formality, shall we? Name and occupation. Just play the theme. Witness, state your name for the court. Oh, sorry, sir. The name is Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. You got it backwards, Gumshoe. As usual. Very screwing up. Other way around, detective. Oh, sorry, guy. I'm the officer in charge of the case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation tied up with another case now. That Gumshoe's really got everything under control for everyone's sake. I see, so Detective Gumshoe. Would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elk. He is a professional programmer. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens Inc., a local company. This is the victim's autopsy report. The court accepts this into evidence. Glenn's autopsy died of potassium cyanide. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. His coffee was brought over to him by the waitress. The waitress being accused. And just because she brought him the coffee does not necessarily mean she's the one who poisoned it, by the way. I'd just like to point that out for everyone that is oblivious to the obvious. Again, you would have to prove that she put the poison in the coffee, and if there were no eyewitnesses, that's very hard to do. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were two other people in the restaurant. Mr. Gene Armstrong, the owner and chef. And a regular named Mr. Kudo. Oh yes, Kudo. As in kudos. Still seems to be a very straightforward case. Tribune floor plan out of the court record blueprints. The crime scene acts as the victim's seat. Again, how do we know Maggie's the one who poisoned the coffee? If Victor or the chef cannot corroborate that, she should be able to walk free. At least one of them have to say that she added the poison to coffee, having seen her do it. If they can't establish that, then again, there's no way of knowing that Maggie's the one who indeed poisoned the coffee, and you have to establish that before you sentence somebody. Or establish someone's guilt, for that matter. Come, detective, take up this hammer. This is also there. I'm wearing a tank top today because it's hot everywhere. Hot and sticky. Nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own two hands. I wouldn't say it's that bad. Again, he hasn't made any connection between... what's his name? Elg? He hasn't made any connection between Elg's murder and Maggie. There's still no connection there, so I'd say she's still doing fine. Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony. Yes, sir. And again, what's Gumshoe's testimony going to do? That's one complaint I've had about Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for all three games, too. The witnesses they call aren't always the best witnesses. Like, why would you not call Maggie? Why wouldn't you call the chef? Why wouldn't you call Victor Kudo? They're the only people that were in the restaurant. Again, why are you calling Dick Gumshoe? Dick Gumshoe doesn't have any evidence. He doesn't have any knowledge of the murder. All he has is knowledge of the evidence he's collected. And I can present that. When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir. But the guy Glenn was listening to the radio at the time. Presumably he got this information again from those witnesses, so why aren't those witnesses being called? Save us time. He's listening to the radio. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. What we found was potassium cyanide. That's stuff really packs a punch. Looks like Miss Bird might have had, well, some kind of motive. Again, some kind of motive is not good enough in a court of law. I'm sorry. She sort of kinda had something to do with it. Yeah, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna be good enough. Using the dark aromatic dust of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. Play the song. And again, that connection still hasn't been made. So I'd say Godot is jumping to conclusions. Absolutely he is, and prosecutors should not do that, by the way. Completely amateur move by Godot here. In fact, soon to be an Iron Club. Again, not really. Even the judge is agreeing, like, no. Again, a connection wasn't made. A connection has to be made. Has to. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around, as I understood. This dunderhead judge still thinks that that was the real Phoenix. He doesn't even look the same, for crying out loud. All he has is spiky hair. He's red. And he has a giant tiger on his jacket. Like, how would anyone miss that? Even this judge. I already told you it wasn't me! Again, just very cartoonish and ridiculous. Alright, let's press it good. Can I stop you for just a minute? What is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence? He's so desperate for that to be true, practically he's crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said. Objection! A literal, that's what she said. What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction? I mean, there's a few different ways to establish that. Number one is either Kudo or the chef. What's his name again? That dude. Gene Armstrong. Yeah, one of these two, again, have to say that there was a guy there. Or there could also be some footage if there was a security camera in the restaurant. Which a lot of restaurants nowadays do have security cameras for that reason. They can pull the tape and they'll know if someone was there at that time. They don't have to monkey around with this. Well, I believe she would say that to cover herself. Not if it's true. If it's true, again, it's not... It's not a story if it's true. Hey, sounds like your testimony isn't supported by the owner of the customer. And that also doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't someone there, by the way. It just means that they didn't see someone there. Which is definitely possible, by the way. People miss stuff all the time. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. There are two testimonies tied up on there. They both said there was no other guy at the table. It's possible he poisoned the coffee and then left, before they had a chance to see him there. And as long as it's in the realm of possibility, it has to be discussed and explored in the trial. Yeah, press it harder. Harder! Maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Bingo, bango, bungo. Phoenix said it. Thank you, Phoenix. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way by those big dividers. That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations, right? Not really. I fear my possession ticket. Although I don't have pictures of those. I probably should have taken pictures of those to show in court, but it's fine. I have here in my possession a ticket. A ticket. Looks more like a photo, it's like me. Yeah, so one-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population of the defendant. Again, jumping to conclusions again. Yeah, see those big dividers? This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took place, correct? I think the court will agree that with such clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trite, could anyone have overlooked a second person at the table? Easy. Timing. Timing is one explanation. Maybe they weren't looking there when the person was there. That's possible. It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. That's only one moment in time, too, by the way. A photo is only one moment in time. It's nowhere near as reliable as video. Because, again, that photo could have been taken after the guy left. Came and left. Photos seen taken from the kitchen. We understand the guy glided up with listening to the radio at the time. Oh, sorry. That's it. He's listening to the radio, you say? Yeah, you had to put him on the radio at the chat box. Yeah. Meg told us that too, didn't she? One of them had some earpiece. Press everything, Phoenix. Press the daylights out of it. What was it that the victim was listening to on the radio, Detective Gumshoe? He wouldn't know, by the way. How did I know? Yeah, exactly. How would he know? It's a lot. We're now one step closer to the middle of nowhere. Well, that wouldn't happen if you weren't asking ridiculous questions, Phoenix. How would he know that? Again, he wasn't there. So why is he on the witness stand in the first place? This isn't going very well. No kidding. Detective, could you tell us about the poison and how it was used? Again, he's getting all this evidence from the witnesses and the evidence that is collected on the crime scene. He's not a very good witness because he didn't see anything. Traces of poison were found in the coffee cup. Oh, that! Traces of poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else. Not sure I get you though. Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder? If I had to put it in the layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So it was sprinkled in. Possible that some of the poison fell outside the cup. Poison could have been anything that was on the table. Salt, sugar, salt, pepper. Objection! Ha. You put salt and pepper in your coffee tray. Well, no, but you put sugar in your coffee. And sugar is often kept on tables in restaurants. Typically have their sugars, their zero-calorie alternatives right there on the table for people to add to their coffee. Next time you go into like a Denny's or something, look around on the table. And it's very likely you'll find sugar and or sugar substitutes there on the table. Pretty much any diner should have that on the table. And yeah, this is a ridiculous point that Ghetto was making that it isn't at all relevant to the case. The fact that they have salt and pepper on the table as well doesn't mean that they don't have sugar on the table. And you definitely add sugar to your coffee. Not everybody would, but I'd say it's a popular additive to coffee. Especially bitter coffee. The victim took his coffee black with no sugar. And again, that doesn't mean someone else didn't add it to his black coffee, by the way. Someone else could have still added the poison to it. Doesn't really matter what his preferences are about coffee. That doesn't really matter. It seems that the poison could only have been in the coffee. We don't know that. We don't know that. So yeah. Always press it, Phoenix. Are you absolutely certain that the victim even drank any of his coffee? What do you mean? According to his file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. What proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Did they run an autopsy? Oh, you're right. That's your objection. Had a sneeze, sorry. In case you were wondering, yeah, I don't have the scariest sneeze, by the way. I just have a sneeze that makes you know, okay, I sneezed. In case you were wondering, the lesser objection was for the detective there. And again, why would you object? All for me? For me? Play the theme, dang it. Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. You have time to waste. You have time to present that piece of evidence. Not this theme, dang it. That piece, sir? Yes, that piece. What piece was it again? This. Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first degree burns? And yeah, you cannot throw your coffee on someone in a court of law. That's not exactly something you can do. Oh, remember? See the McDonald's lawsuit. Like, you can't actually do that. This is the victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the room. Oh yes, it's unmistakable. There's clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. Although, if there was an autopsy done, you'd be able to confirm that, by the way. You'd have trace amounts of poison in his stomach. We can gulp down the bitter death that is... The record, the only prints on the cup are the victims and the defendants. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, again, because the poison could have been sprinkled into the coffee cup. So fingerprint analysis wouldn't exactly be critical here. Coffee contained potassium cyanide, covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints. That makes sense. Again, the poison could have been sprinkled into the coffee cup without touching the cup. The question is, when was it poisoned and by whom? And without some form of testimony or physical evidence, there is really no way to accuse Maggie Bird. There's actually no way to accuse her, because you have no way of knowing she was the one who added the poison to the coffee. Not a certain chemical substance. Without potassium cyanide, that's stuff really packs a punch. Hold it, potassium cyanide. I've heard of that chemical before. Exactly how strong is this poison, Detective Gumshoe? Well, it's not lethal. Too much in your history. How much is too much? Lethal dose is 0.2 grams. That's about enough to finish anyone. 0.2 grams? How much is that? Only swap your history. Earwax? Yeah, about that much. Earwax, huh? Sounds like something Gumshoe's got an abundance of. Such a small quantity of poison could have been concealed anywhere. Definitely didn't take much. Looks like Madison Bird might have done well some kind of motive. Again, what motive is there? Some kind of motive. Yeah, man, GSP's been blown way out of proportion. Objection! Hopefully Godot has something good to say here, because this makes no sense to me. You know what my golden rule is, Detective? Knock out a bad cup of coffee, you can always get another. That was a ridiculous thing to say. What does that have to do with motive of Maggie Bird? What does that have to do? Yeah, even Gumshoe's like, I don't get it. I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to check you out. I don't know what he's even doing there in the first place. Stick to the facts, Detective. Now then, what was Miss Bird's motive? Thank you. They said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. How do we know that? How do we know that? That's what we heard yesterday too. Why would she steal a ticket? Disappeared from the scene of the crime. Logically speaking, though, Maggie would have had... She would have the ticket, though. She'd either have the money or the ticket. Which they would have found after the arrest. Simple search warrant. This wasn't a lottery ticket. It was winning a ticket for $500,000. Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one. Maggie stole the winning one. How do we know she stole it, though? How do we know that she stole it? Because if we don't know that, again, we can't say that that was her motive. Obviously, you're going to press it. Wait a minute. The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client, correct? Ah. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. Why was that not found by Gumshoe? Why was that not entered into evidence? It just kind of miraculously came out of nowhere. That's a $500,000 lottery ticket. One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search. So why don't we have that evidence? The defendant. That would have been good to have before now. Detective Gumshoe. Order. Ah, she's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. We'll submit that ticket as evidence to the court immediately. Yeah, why don't we have it already? Better keep an eye on the ticket, the way the judge's voice is quivering. Victim's lottery ticket added to the court record. Winning ticket for $500,000 found during a body search of Maggie. And... yeah, stuff gets planted all the time. I'm pretty sure we found planted evidence in that case with the circus in the last game. Like, you put on a jacket or something and, like, it's someone else's jacket, it's possible that you're gonna find something in the jacket that wasn't yours, you know? Okay, found in the body search. Ticket was presented to court in the previous trial treat. Feels heavier now somehow. $500,000, you say. Air cash was in. Just a scratch of paper. What matters is where it was found on. That's on Maggie's person, unfortunately. That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime in which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit the crime. Again, you have to establish, again, not that she stole the ticket, because that's not enough, right? Even that's not enough. You have to establish that she poisoned the coffee. And that still has not yet been established. You have to make the case that she was the one who poisoned the coffee, not that she's the one that stole the ticket, because that's not the question we're talking about here. We're talking about whether or not she poisoned the coffee. Like an old man who knows the score. There's also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive. She wouldn't need to kill him, though, to steal it. Just pointing that out. Without some money, even I might be tempted by the rules. I don't mind an old man who's weak to the siren call of money. Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggie's starting to pile up fast. That's because the court has ruled guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance. With one final decisive piece of evidence. Got more evidence against Maggie? This is the apron delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. That's not the cleanest apron I've seen. Even that doesn't mean anything. Ask any waiter, waitress, or people who work in food service and they'll tell you that they get messy doing their job. People have accidents, they spill stuff. Even when they're not spilling stuff, they still get food on themselves. Like, happens all the time. That stain looks like it can't be blood, can it? Why would there be blood on her apron now? It said he was poisoned. Why is there blood on it? That doesn't make sense. Seems as a sharp blood was a little flustered. Again, that isn't actually even good evidence, because why is there blood on the apron if he was poisoned? Somehow spilled coffee on herself. I mean, something we want to discuss is where did that blood come from? Because we know it's not his. Says he died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Well, whose blood was that? The coffee. That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean, of course. I referred to the pocket. Pocket! Search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. Where are her fingerprints on that, though? We need to ask ourselves a couple different questions. Number one is, were her fingerprints on that? And number two, did she know that that was poison? Because if someone added poison to the salt, again, how would she know? Or, the sugar, how would she know that? Someone else could have added poison to the sugar containers. Very poison used by the killer in their pocket. Bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket. Yeah, Maggie's prints with the other ones on it. Where was all this evidence in the investigation? We were missing like half the critical evidence. Order. Where will I set these items in evidence? Did we get any evidence in the investigation? Like, what the heck? Worn by Maggie at the time, has a small pocket but big stains. There's Maggie's prints. Okay, that's bad. That in her pocket. But again, it doesn't say at all. That doesn't tell the whole story. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Biddle. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Yeah, that is very interesting. What's that doing there? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Complete rookie response. Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. They shouldn't need to. It's obvious. Anyone with eyes could see that. Maybe not wearing that mask, but anyone with eyes could see that. Well, detective, could this stain really be blood? No way, sir. That's just ketchup, sir. That does make some sense. Let's got some on her apron while taking some on their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe. Bulls don't like that again. I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. But everyone knew that what it was already. I haven't seen anything yet that make me doubt the last ruling I made on the case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence. They've all been clearly established. Well, Trey, seems you really are a phony after all. Not necessarily. Again, we haven't really gotten to the heart of the case yet. We're just discussing the details of the case. Her guilt has not been established. You may think it has, but it really has not yet been established, so we're still in the clear. Really know I'm driving my nuts. Witness, please continue your testimony. Describe the court to see the findings. The investigation. The crime was reported by 2:25 p.m. by kind of scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie passed out from the shock. It must have been really tough for her. He didn't have any identification on him. We figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation ran smoothly. The question is, why did he drink the coffee if he knew it was poison? Maggie was searched. He found a large ticket at the bottom poison. That was it. Nothing else missing from the crime scene. Identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trey. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin. Investigation. How do we know that that stuff wasn't planted on Maggie by the chef, though? How do we know that? The crime was reported by the scary old man. Was it Victor Kudo? I think it was. There's no same old man. I was using the stretch right after your book came in, but the old guy still made a fuss. What took you so long? Then he abused them in seats. Oh, there's nothing. I caught each one with my teeth. Not even the money Goodell can avoid being attacked by that guy. The man was the only other customer in that place at the time. Took his time finding a payphone apparently, so he was late reporting the crime. He passed out from the shock. How long was the defendant unconscious for? Officers got the crime scene around 2:40 p.m. Maggie was still out cold in the kitchen at the time. It took another 10 minutes to go or so before she came to. I would like to have been on the scene myself. Why are you on the witness stand, then? Who would call you to the witness stand? I bet you would have liked to have carried out the search. Let's see Maggie sleep like that, all pretty peaceful. You're a professional detective, Gumshoe, not a professional birdwatcher. Get it together. Save the romance for your own time, detective. All we need to know is about the investigation. You guys are pretty red right now, aren't I? Victim didn't have any identification on him. Didn't have any. Are you saying it was stolen then? I don't think so. You have a credit card, so how do you pay for the coffee then? Victim didn't have a driver's license or even a credit card. Well, all that was 58 cents in his wallet. Is that enough for a cup of coffee? I can't believe I found someone with less in their wallet than me, pal. Victim sounds like he was a thoroughly miserable young man. A kind of outlaw. Why not give him a bit of an edge? Well, I mean, he's waving the winning ticket around. That's not smart. Just saying. Why not give him a bit of an edge? They want something here. Wait a sec. Oh, did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, yes? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? Oh, that. To let Danny got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going. There's a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. Which ticket? I thought Maggie stole it. How is it still on the table then? Mr. Glenelg visited his doctor before he went to Tribulations. Got the victim's name from the medical records of the doctor who prescribed the meds. Sure, liable now source for the court. Leave this alone or ask to hear more. Ask about the bag. What sort of medicine was in there? Actually, the bag we found was empty. Uh-huh. Yeah, completely empty. It was completely empty. I wonder what was in there. Oh. Entering an empty paper bag is evidence. Desperate arguments, right? Now, what happened with your investigation after that, detective? Maggie was searched and found the lottery ticket in Brian's basement, but you just said you found it on the table. She'd been passed out. In that case, isn't it possible someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket? Correct? Yeah, you nailed it, pal. Waiting for the objection from the peanut gallery, Godot. Happens to me all the time. At the department party the other day when he got home. When the boss is show. Objection! Objection, there it is. Keep on this crazy testimony, detective, and those shoes will end up down your throat. Not exactly the objection we were looking for, but okay, alright. Sorry. So try. Someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket. That's a pretty bold statement. Care to back it up with some evidence? I'd love to if I had any. Here's you have no evidence to support your theory, Mr. Wright. Continue with their testimony, witness. Is that true, though? I mean, if it was planted, there would still be fingerprints on it, right? Well, logically speaking, there should still be some... There should be fingerprints on this, other than Maggie's. Those were accounted for. Interesting. It's true that those two items were accounted for. Wasn't there another lottery ticket that was stolen that day? Oh yeah. The one the restaurant owner took. Won a whole $1 with it. What a lucky guy, huh? They're just going to let him get away with it. Just $1, detective. I guess no one cares when it's that little except for Gumshoe. If I don't find a hole in this testimony, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. Gumshoe isn't giving us anything to work with. Can't find any contradictions if he doesn't give us something. That's true, but Maggie and Gumshoe were like Dumb and Dumber. Our only hope is that they were so dumb they missed something obvious. Be the dumbest you've ever been. Be dumb like never before. Okay, well, we're discovering new things. We know he had this identification. I wonder if I can object with the bag, though. Alright, hold on a sec. Hey, where are we? Where are we? 4-1 trial, right? I think so. Oh, this seems wrong, sorry. Part 2 trial. Yeah, 2 trial, correct. Statement 6. The fact that they didn't find anything. Alright, hold on, I have to make sure I'm doing the right one. Because the bag was empty. They should have... Objection! They should have been able to find a prescription bottle or something. Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There's just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, Bartley. Getting all anxious, just wait. So hurry up, will you? Testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. The officers recovered the medicine from the scene of the crime later. No, they did. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. That bottle should have been somewhere around. Where then did the medicine disappear to? Got too cool, pal. Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Goodness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? Yes, that's the most careless thing I've done so far. The victim was killed by poison. The victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been lethal poison itself. Truly. Order. Well, Mr. Godot, what do you have to say to that? Ah, that's all. What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. Oh, otolaryngological. I don't know. What kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godot? Hardly an illness, your doctor. Your honor, sorry. Make more like a bitter war wound, you could say. What? A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. Elk found himself in a fight. What? Take a blow to the side of the head. Ruptured his eardrum. He ruptured his eardrum? What on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside the ear canal, not to be ingested. How do you know that? How do you know that? Did you call him up? I guess he called him up. It mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. It found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Looks like Godot's done his homework. Here it is, it's very fine print. Mr. Elk correctly applied some of this medication while he was at Tribulations. What? Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication. We don't know that for sure, Godot. Seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all. Nick, if you don't think of something quick, it'll be over. He's right. If I can't get away with a week-old objection, what should I do? Push the medication issue, right? Only moments ago, Mr. Godot made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime? But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. Objection! That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. Objection! You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It might have had connection to the murder, though. Why wasn't it there? Was it the container of the poison? Hardly seems that the prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. Objection! It had been added. Hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable. Oh. That's enough. Mr. Godot, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godot? He's short-circuiting. Play the theme. I got my witness, like I said. The old man who was there at the restaurant the other minute. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater. Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems a little more than trivial at best. Not really. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial. That is something that bothers me. Good job, Nick. Court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we'll hear the prosecution's next witness. Ah, I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess. January 7th, 1103, District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. That was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died there. That's my line, sir. My line. I think I did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. Can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could you betray us like that? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. The guy's got to do his job, right? It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But here's this time. Felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. Yeah, somehow I doubt that, Maggie. I hate that guy. I don't want to see him again. Poor Gumshoe. The next witness is going to be that old guy from the park. Mr. Kudo, lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. He's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. He's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him, Nick? I can take whatever he throws at me. Even those never-ending bird seeds. Alright, let's get it over with. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. Prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. What? Will the witness please take the stand? I am curious what he saw. Because he didn't see the guy, so there's not really a whole lot he did see. This theme isn't bad. It's interesting. Name and occupation if you don't mind. The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too. You don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Listen, Ryan. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here? Kimono embroidery? That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Real craftsman, you're a dying breed. Maybe he can embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, not much demand for that kind of thing here. I'd take a job working at the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino. Seeds? What do you think these are? Those are for the pigeons. So you saw everything that happened, friends. Did I? Oh yes. Yes, I did. I saw it all. Even that is called into question because he didn't see the other guy. So how much did he not see? Then please, tell the court. Where are you? Sure, I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail. I mean, unless he was watching that table the entire time, from the time the guy entered the restaurant to the time he died, unless he was watching the entire time, he can't say that. Yeah, I somehow doubt that. You don't think that Elig would have said something if he noticed some creepy old man was just staring at him continuously the entire time? Yeah, I doubt it. I really doubt that. Let's press the statements, what I witnessed. The young man was reading the spark paper. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's a serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Again, you don't know that was poison, though. Mr. Kudo, she's not a serving girl. Please refer to her as waitress. You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words, what's wrong with old-fashioned ones, Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses, it's wireless and spectacles, I tell you. Excuse me? Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Please, let's get this over with, for the love of goodness. Hold it. You saw Glen Elk. I wanted to know if Gustin Braun retained his championship or not. So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? So, did you see him or not? And at the location in question, there are partitions between tables on the same side of the restaurant, right? So what if there are? If you say that you can see the victim, that means you were sitting at the table on the other side of the restaurant, correct? God, I go to that place to drink Javachino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember which table I was sitting at. I mean, you go there to eye the waitress. I mean, you would have had to been sitting there to be able to see him. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to see him. You wouldn't have been able to see him or the paper. Mr. Kudo, that's a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw? Victor, Kudo never makes mistakes. I do every T and cross every I. Not every T and cross every I. I see. My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving. But his eyes only are really fine when he's flipping on a waitress. I saw what the serving girl put into the Javachino as well. I bet I know what's coming up and something tells me I'm not going to like it. Press harder. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask that the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony. I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please? Sure. There's no question about it. She was conspicuously put some white powder in there. Oh, look like he was in pain. Took one sip. I'm gonna have to press that statement again, by the way. You youngins, you waste everything. Those Javachinos cost $8. In the good old days, we were to have drink every last drop, eat in the cup, and then die. Congratulations, you earned the title of battiest man to grace a courtroom. So it was an immediate death. Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that's possible. Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javachino I just drank turned sour in my stomach. Oh yes, I know that feeling. What, Godot? And the waitress, I presume she is... That's the girl. You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Particular features, it's a disgrace, that's what it is. Sorry? You can see all the way up to her, you know. She's practically naked in that uniform. Objection? So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit. Anyone can wear even such a uniform, even me. Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that evidence. He's right, though. It could have been any girl wearing that uniform, though. Or anybody, for that matter. Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together. Guess I got a bit carried away. There are other things I recognize about her, too. Seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Press harder? What else did you recognize? You saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. What matters is whether the waitress was Maggie Berg or not. Yes, that matters, and it also matters what she added to the cup. Both of those things are very relevant. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant. I asked you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There's a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose. I'm going to press this one first. The white powder. I need to know what it was. He truly put that into the coffee. You got me, boy. She took some out of a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in. Couldn't she have been adding sugar? Sugar in a small brown bottle like that? Goodness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms? Ah, a bottle like this, perhaps. There it is. That's the one. That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume. So what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you? And what was red powder? She put some white powder in there. You remember several details about her appearance. But about the most crucial detail of all, her face. As if I wouldn't remember that. Objection. The witness noticed the straps on the accused apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face. That's right, even I can tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair is red. So you see there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. Ask about the straps or the waitress's back. I want to say it's straps. No, it's back. Sorry. It's back. I don't know why this is important, but okay. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front?
Objection!
Objection. Ah, he's got you there, Gramps. People normally, and usually you object when you're contradicting a claim, not when you're agreeing. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. Witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This is harassment. I'll tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. Just telling you what I saw. Mr. Kudo, the court requests you add details about any identifying features you observe from the front, that is to your mirror. This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. If I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer a bit. There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
Hold it!
Okay, hold it. You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face. No question about it. Didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down. That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. It's turned into a matter of pride for old C now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not. Didn't seem like he did, no. Need some concrete proof of this. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front. You think old C really saw Maggie do it? He probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there. If he was there, again, how could he see everything that's happening in the booth if he's looking at the waitress, though? Again, seems like his testimony has inconsistencies. He's there for cute outfits, not the waitress, I guess. She makes a good point, though. Did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress really Mr. Kudo saw was Maggie. That's what we have to figure out, Nick. I think I have to object with this apron, right? Object with the apron, yeah. There were big stains on the shirts. Objection! Mr. Kudo, I'd like you to please take a look at this. God, that filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like after he's done eating. I've never seen this before. Of course I haven't. You think I'd forget something as dirty as that? You half-witted clot? Okay, so he didn't... Yeah, he didn't see her. Could have been anyone. What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in air. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you'd really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops. Goodness. Can't just oops your way out of this. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Yeah, a lot of phony evidence. That doesn't seem good. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird. Exactly. When that one waitress put the poison in the coffee cup. And how do you know that was the only waitress there, Guido? Were you there, physically? Who did you learn that from? Even that has to be called into question because you don't know that for sure, unless you were there. And you weren't there, were you? So how do you know that? And that one waitress put the poison in the coffee cup. This old guy was watching. I do understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps. You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I remember seeing the occasion where I forgot a burger a customer wanted. He can't remember, probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out. Very well, let's test how good your memory and attention detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. Sorry, this is just going on and on, guys, like... He was another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had the newspaper in his right hand and a noisy brat kept rustling the pages. What? The young man was listening to the wireless. I learned that well. And the servant girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. Even that doesn't make sense. If there was poison in the cup, how did he do that? Seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How are we going to handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? It's what I do best. Obviously, he's got errors here. There are things that aren't true. The young type. He wasn't wearing glasses, dark glasses. One of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. Newfangled rubbish. What's why I remember him so well? He did have some kind of lens left over left eye, but I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses. He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Sorry, I'm like fumbling because there's just so much freaking dialogue. Others should take to wearing sunglasses and rival Mr. Go sharp. Better come for something sharp and quick. Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about the spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand. A noisy brat kept rustling the pages. Hold it. So he wasn't alone. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it? Yeah, I'm Gilligan. I nearly asked him, can you even read without fidgeting? How was I supposed to be able to read the page with all that rustling going on? Need to find out if Gaston Braun retained his championship title. It was his paper, not yours. If you want to know so bad, why don't you buy your own? What are you looking at me like that for? How dare you judge me? Ow. Gaston Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway. No one cares about that. The young man was listening to the wireless. The wireless. But that could be rascal. On my day, I was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless. Oh boy, I'm using an earpiece. It's just selfish, is what it is. Straining my ears. Speaking of straining my ears, this freaking game's raw amount of dialogue is straining my voice box. I couldn't catch any of it. Why are you looking at me like that for? How dare you feel sorry for me? My eyes don't lie. I'm starting to feel you, boy. Better not push it until I get some hard evidence. Free hands. Which hand was that? Weren't you listening before clock airs? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? If his free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand was it, you moron? Ow. Ah, props to the great Mr. Tried has 3 hands. I was only asking, no need to king up, I'm going to treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish one thing. This little guy's memory is more wholesome than its less its twist. We just need to find a contradiction in his testimony. Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake. He's ours. I believe you present the profile, right? The profile. It's the coffee cup. Oh, wow. This is probably the thing I appreciate the most about this. Is it's not in the description. You have to physically look at the physical evidence. The visual representation of the coffee cup to make the conclusion. Because he picked it up with the right hand. Very clever of the game. And again, not something most people I think would be able to figure out without looking at the guide, because again, it's very obscure. Why would it matter which hand he was using? Objection, Mr. Kudo. Do you remember what you were told to start this testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory. I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. Got anything wrong? I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song. Care to tell us where this is going, Troy? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand. while drinking coffee with the free hand, which would make that his left. Ah, what is this? Kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this. That's the cup the victim used, correct? Yes, on the rim you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. There's a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see the victim was holding the cup in his right hand. But how? Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. God. He did say that. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. Being the witness... Wait. I think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad. You're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony. The young Wright was holding the cup in his left hand. Well, yes, no question. I'm good, law-abiding citizen I am. It's that young hotbot and you spiky-haired yahoo who are at fault. Who, me? Thank you, old man. You've heard quite enough of me already. Don't call me old man, old man. I've been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say. Get him out of here, bailiff. Please. Why not hear a little more? Mr. Godot, he's already wasted enough of the court's time. Can we please just move on? What more could he have to say or add? He didn't see who it was. I don't know why it's important that he didn't remember which hand he used, but he definitely wasn't watching him the entire time. His memory's not very good. Again, I don't know what significance it is, what hand he was using, but okay. We really want to figure out more about his poisoning. That's the question at issue. Who poisoned him and how? How and when? Those are the most important questions in the case. Everything else is irrelevant. Like how he drank the coffee is completely irrelevant. It actually doesn't mean anything. Rely on Victor. Okay, more testimony. Yay. Left or right hand. We already know this. Boy is wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens. Kept fiddling with it at a time. Fiddling with it just before he picked the cup. Use the same cup to pick the cup. Left hand. We already know it's not his left hand, based on the physical evidence. We know the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. Looks like a power reader from Dragon Ball Z. The, what do they call those? Scouters? It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor used by programmers. Monitor? You mean like a television screen? Inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. Again, why is this important to the trial? It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in victims' line of work. All these letters drive me mad. They don't matter. I know what I saw. I'm telling the truth. You said that before, and you've been already mistaken at least once in this trial. He doesn't seem to be lying. Those are facts in good black and white. He's wearing the earpiece on the same side. No question. I can only see that side of his head from where I was sitting. That's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. You only view the side of the victim's head. Kept fiddling with it all the time. Seems he kept an eye on Mr. Glenn Allen. He's getting on my nerves. That's the newspaper and filling with his earpiece all the time. Anyway, made the fuss dying from that one sip of Chino. I'm gonna say to him, calm down, you dumb brat. Just looking at it made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked. So really you didn't see anything, because you didn't see the waitress, you didn't see the guy. What did you see, anyway? Which hand did the victim touch it with? The earpiece. You're one of those people, aren't you? You're the type that uses your left hand to get things out of your right pocket. Fastens your left cup with the right hand. Yeah, you usually would do that. because you can't reach your cuff link with your left hand if it's on the left wrist. Physically, it's impossible because people cannot take their hand and use it to grab their own wrist on that side. So if you're tidying up your cufflinks, you have to do it like that. You can't do it like this. It doesn't make sense. Alright, keep talking, old timer. Just keep talking. I don't know why this is important, but okay. Seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo. That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you're trying to apply. Looks like you really did see the guy picking up the cup with his left hand. This is a dead end. What do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth, but even so, something's not quite right. Then chuck evidence at him until he breaks. But if he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony. I think this is profile improvement. Yep, the profile on any of the statements. Okay, great. He was wearing it on the left side. Left eardrum was ruptured. Why is that important? Not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there is something very strange about your observations of the victim. What? You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. I can only see the side of his head from where I was sitting. I don't think so. What did you just say? You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Oh, okay, another just silly contradiction that doesn't have anything to do with anything. His earpiece would have had to be on the right side because he can't hear out of his left ear. But again, why is that important? Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear. He couldn't even hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain? It is. Hi. Pigeon. Pretty pigeon. I don't know why that's important, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about how he couldn't hear things out of his left ear, so yeah. He couldn't have had the earpiece on his left side. How is it? Why is that important? The witness's testimonies are unreliable. I would say so. He didn't really know. He didn't really see anything. He only saw the waitress from behind. He claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when he knows his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot? A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man. My drop of milk. Captain, are you calling me a drip? No, just please get out of the court. Please leave. Bailiff, get him out. This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his cappuccino with his left hand. Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup, held in his right hand, and then he switched to his left. That's what the old man said. Objection! If that were the case, then it would have had the lip stain on the other side, though. Yeah, impossible. Witness had already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of coffee. Objection! Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. I actually agree with Godot on this, so I don't see how that's important. The facts still stand with one hand or the other. Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee. Like this. Objection! Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. Exactly. All of this mumbo-jumbo and noise and us just talking, is just to establish the witness's credibility. We still don't know who the murderer was. Like, the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless. Again, why are you calling this witness to the stand? Really didn't see anything. Time to conclude today's proceedings. I'm satisfied the witness is not deceiving the court. To be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey. Sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from there. Oh my gosh. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate the case further. That's all for now. Court's adjourned. Yeah, because, you know, what's another 20 minutes? Nobody stop now. Where's that lady May? Leave you, Mr. Kudo? Thanks to that blue-suited young fellow over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now. You couldn't do that before anyway. You cross your T's and dot your I's. And your lowercase J's. Everyone knows that. How was your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. I've kept my mouth shut until now. There's something else the court should know. What else could you possibly add? That might not be anything, but I want another chance. I want another crack at you, young shark. He's looking at me like some sort of evil showdown. Why do you say to one final showdown? My final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook. You already had enough Yeah, thank you, Ghetto. You've already had enough chances. Grandpa, sorry. All you got to do is, Captain. I'll give you a job at shooting one if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68, but Victor Kudo's still a man. What does that have to do with anything? We don't need to hear statements about your manhood in here, okay? Like, just please leave. That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. It never ends, like, really. Infinite ammo. Yeah, great. Even more testimony. He upset the vase, knocked it over. Okay. Strip of cloth covering the table got soaked. How about that? Turn things upside down. That actually changes nothing. Like, even if what you're saying is true, it changes absolutely nothing about the case. We're not done, Mr. Kudo. Please just leave. Bailiff, escort Mr. Kudo off the stand. Oh my gosh. That's all you can think of. Dude, like, when is this gonna end? Final showdown. Yeah, I hope it is the final showdown. Again, how does anything he said change the facts before us? It really doesn't. Accidents waiting to happen. They're practically beginning to be knocked over. He's right about there being bases. I do remember seeing them. Base on the table. You saw the moment when the victim actually knocked over the base. I heard a break, and the sight of it is burned into my memory as clear as day. Soaked in the water. Splashed my knee as well. You said you're sitting at the table from the room of the victim. The water still managed to splash onto you. I heard it splashing me. Did the water really make it all the way across the other side? How about that? Everything goes right down. Basically, you just wasted all of your time. Joke isn't even funny. Yeah, even Godot agrees he's wasting time. Alright, we have to object to one of his ridiculous statements, so we just gotta figure out which one. Crime photo, statement 3 or 4. Cool. 1, 2, 3. It's still upright though in this photograph. So yeah, why would we believe anything you say? Because you're making up facts about the case that frankly have nothing to do with the murder. They have nothing to do with murder at all. So why are we even talking about it? We're talking about all the minutia of the crime scene, like, oh well, the vase was not knocked over, and the earpiece was on the other side, and he picked it up with the right hand. Like, all this is completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Has nothing at all to do with the murder. Lost your tongue, granddad. No granddad of yours, Johnny Scotch. Ow. And if you throw any more seeds, I'll have you held in contempt. Like, what would a judge do? Again, I think they'd have the bailiff escort them out. I don't think they would keep standing there. It was on my table, the vase. Again, like, what does this have to do with anything? Aren't you cute and funny? You knocked down the vase on your own table. How is that important to the case? Yeah, how's this important to the case? You basically just wasted everyone's time in unbelievable fashion. Oh my gosh. No. You just wasted everyone's time. And for a game with 2-hour-long episodes, that's saying something. You're just gonna keep rambling on. Get him off the stand. What's wrong with you? Thank you. Jeez Louise. I thought that would never happen. Like, what's the judge doing? Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand. The mark itself could have been significant because, again, how did that get there? If he drank it with his left hand, why is there a mark on the cup? I don't know. Earpiece which is inserted in his left ear out of which you can hear. He did it. Therefore, require both the defense and the prosecution to investigate. Testimony should be of use. He summarized it accordingly in the statement. You each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Even Godot's like shaking his head like, dude, what just happened? Godot's really mad. I mean, I would be too. Like, you just wasted everyone's time. Okay, 3 copies. My own, yours, Mr. Godot's. What? When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. And I never thought he was going to say that. Jeez Louise. It just goes on and on. Like, it never ends. Wondering if I should put off Resident Evil until tomorrow. What I might do is just have an extra long episode of Resident Evil tomorrow. I think that's the best solution. Yeah, I'll just skip Phoenix Wright, and I'll just do a back-to-back episode of Resident Evil. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Everything helps. Tribulations, Venmo Stormer Show if you have the means.